I wonder what this is. It's the color gold. And things that are gold are very valuable. Parables are very valuable, even more valuable than gold. I wonder if this is a parable. It's kind of an antique gold, an old color, and parables are very old, more than 2,000 years old. It looks like a gift box, and parables are gifts. They were given to you by someone who loves you very much, and they're yours for always. There's another reason that this might be a parable. It has a lid on it. And parables sometimes seem to have lids on them. The lid is like a door, and the door of the parable does not always open to you right away. You have to keep coming back to it. Don't give up, because one day that door will open up for you, and you will find something very precious inside. I know. Let's take the lid off and see if this really is a parable. Let's see. I wonder what this is. It's very scratchy. It's hard to know what it might be. It's just a lot of brown. Let's see what else we have here. I wonder what this is. Giant Band-Aid? Maybe a giant crack, and all this brown is getting ready to break in two. We need something else to help us. Let's see. I wonder what these are. There's two of them. There's no light in them. It's almost like I'm holding a shadow in my hand. Let's see what else we have in here. Oh, two places. Oh, that must mean that this is a road. I recognize this place. That gold dome right there. That's right. It's the temple in Jerusalem. And this is Jericho. So this must be the road from Jerusalem to Jericho. I know this road. It's a very dangerous road. It's dangerous because it goes through the wilderness. Let's see, is there anything else in here? No? So I guess we'll just have to begin. Once there was someone who said such wonderful things and did such amazing things that people began to follow him. And as they followed him, they heard him speaking about a kingdom about which they had never heard before, the kingdom of God. And they were filled with questions. And one day, a person came to Jesus and asked, "What must I do to get life that lasts forever?" And Jesus said, "What have you read in God's scriptures?" And the man said, "We are to love the Lord our God with all our heart and all our soul and all our strength and all our mind, and to love our neighbor as ourselves." "That is right," said Jesus. "So now go and live." "But," the man said, "who is my neighbor?" And Jesus answered him by telling this parable. There once was a traveler who was traveling down the road from Jerusalem to Jericho. And all of a sudden, two robbers jumped out and attacked him. They beat him, they took everything he had, and they left him by the road, half dead. Now there was a priest who worked in the temple in Jerusalem. And it so happened that that very same day, he too was traveling on the road from Jerusalem to Jericho. And as he came to the place where the traveler had been attacked, beaten, had everything taken away from him, and was lying by the side of the road, half dead, he looked at him from a distance and passed way over to the other side of the road, and then continued on his way to Jericho. Now there was also another man who worked in the temple, assisting the priest. His job was to care for the temple building and to help with the music. He was a Levite. And it so happened that that very same day, this Levite also was traveling on the road from Jerusalem to Jericho. And as he came up to the place where the man who had been attacked by robbers, beaten, had everything taken away from him, and was laying by the side of the road, half dead, he too looked at him from a distance and passed way over to the other side of the road, and then went on his way to Jericho. Now there was another man who was not from Jerusalem. He was from a place called Samaria. And the people of Jerusalem, who were Jews, did not like the people from Samaria, who were Samaritans. They thought they were better than them. And it so happened that this man too was traveling on the road to Jericho that day. And as he came up to the place where the man who had been attacked by robbers, beaten, had everything taken away from him, and was laying by the side of the road, half dead, he looked and had compassion on him. And he went up to him and took out some olive oil and poured it on all of his wounds and bandaged them, and then lifted the man up and placed him on his donkey, and then took the man to the nearest inn. And he stayed with the man, and all night long he watched over him. And when morning came, he went to the innkeeper and gave him some money, and he told him, "Take care of him, and when I come back, I will repay you whatever more money you have spent on him. Now I wonder, who was the neighbor to the traveler who had been attacked and beaten, had everything taken away from him, and was left by the side of the road, half dead? Was this one a neighbor to him? What about this one? Was he a neighbor to the traveler? What about the thieves? Were they a neighbor to the traveler? What about this one? Could this be the one who was the neighbor? And what about this one? Who is a neighbor to him? Could it be this one? Is he a neighbor? Or this one? Could he be a neighbor? What about this one? Is he a neighbor to him? And what about this one? Might he be a neighbor to this one? What about the traveler? Would he be a neighbor to this one? I wonder. Let's see. What about this one, the priest? I wonder who might be a neighbor to him. Could this one be a neighbor? The Levite? Would these be a neighbor to him? What about this one? Would he be a neighbor to the priest? And what about the traveler? Who, before he was beaten, he looked like this. I wonder if he would be a neighbor to the priest. And what about you, I wonder? Who is your neighbor? Here's the traveler. The Samaritan, the priest and the Levite, the two thieves, and the rocky hiding places, Jerusalem and Jericho. And the road between the two. The wilderness. And this is a parable.